Hey guys, AuspiciousAussie here, and welcome to episode 4 of our Local to Global here with the Canadian Wrestling Coalition. Now, obviously in the last episode, we actually fixed the problem with ourselves not gaining any popularity from our big monthly pay-per-views. So that issue was fixed. It was essentially just changing the priority of shows from television, which was what I assume I put it as television to match CWA. And basically, we changed that over to events and we now actually gain popularity. Anyway, apart from that, we didn't really do too much apart from fixing that issue. Obviously, we ran a lot of shows. We got up to 3 popularity in Ontario as well. But yeah, we also signed a couple of people, or we actually got them into the company. But obviously, well, I say we didn't do a lot, but we also crowned a new champion as well in the last episode. This one, I feel like it's probably going to be more of the same. You know, we have to try and get through as much as possible and try and hopefully increase our popularity to a decent level so we can actually start gaining more money and start to make a profit per month. As you can see, it's not looking great. We're 8,700 in debt at the moment. And of course, that's pretty much only going to get worse. Now, I did say in the last episode that I was no longer going to do any tag team matches. Now, I'm going to try and stick to that, to the best of my ability for this episode. Once again, we've got some more events here as I need to scratch my face, as I do pretty much every episode. Once again, Murray and Marcel, our 2 favorite guys. Alright, I'm going to find him for that one, and let's just give Murray a warning. So yeah, those 2 guys are really causing a lot of problems. They really are. Anyway, another failed rib there, which is perfect. Alright, let's book this show. I think we're going to have Virgil take on Marcel, so that's going to be a non-title match, of course. Our new champion is, of course, Marcel Lafleur. He is actually the most over wrestler on our roster at the moment, so he kind of deserves to be champion. He's also relatively impressive in the ring, so it does make sense. As far as the main event for tonight, let's go with Americana and then Pelt. Have we done this one? We've never done this match, so that's perfect for our main event. And I think I'm going to give it to Americana. I think Americana might be Marcel's next challenger. I'm wondering if we could actually call this match. We might be able to. Yeah, it's got 73 psychology. And I think this guy has... Oh, he's got 70 as well. Was that always... Yeah, I thought that was 69. But yeah, Americana up 1 point in psychology, which is really... And I just exited it. Perfect. Okay, let's quickly book that one in again. Definitely distracting myself. But we can indeed call it now, so that's perfect. Alright, there we go. So that'll go down as our main event. And then we need one more match. Again, we're only doing 3 matches per card. Let's go with Camicazi and Captain Canada. I feel like that should be a relatively good match as well. With Camicazi picking up the victory. And I kind of want Captain Canada. He needs a lot of progression. He is kind of on the low side. Really bad psychology. He's not too bad overall, though, when looking at the rest of his stats. Now, in between episodes, I have actually been looking at the people that I might want to sign once we actually have some money. And honestly, most of them are like really young workers, which I didn't expect. Well, obviously I know we need younger workers, but at the same time, I kind of thought that I might, go a different direction and sort of go with like maybe 27-year-old wrestlers and above. But I feel like there's a lot of really talented young workers that weren't in 2016 that are now in 2020. So I think we might actually, stick primarily to a young roster. We will, of course, have to have some older guys. Some level-headed senior wrestlers to at least control the backstage environment. We need some, backstage leaders, that's for sure, especially with most of our guys in our roster at the moment. Anyway, we start this first show off with a 35 rated angle from Camicazi. Basically just, saying that he's coming for the title soon. He wants to be in the mix. Of course, he did lose in the triple threat match in the last episode, which was a #1 contenders match. But he did pretty well here. He's not too amazing on the mic, but it's good to see him, improvising well without a script. His match getting a 30 segment rating, where we have Camicazi defeating Captain Canada in 11:42 by Pinfall with a reverse 450 splash, excuse me. It's not a bad match. 38 in ring there for Camicazi. We then go into a 31 rating. I think we have done this match before. We have Marcel Lafleur defeating Virgil Voss in 11:53 by submission with a Parisian chicken wing. And as you can see, Marcel and Virgil have pretty good chemistry. So, yeah, I think we already knew that, though. I have a feeling we saw that last episode. We then go into a 43 rated angle with Americana Jr., and he also improvised well throughout the segment, leading into the main event, which gets a pretty bad rating, actually. This is a very bad rating, considering. So we get a 35 for the main event, where we have Americana Jr. defeating Jason Van Pelt in 1938 by pinfall with an American crush. However, Americana was really off his game, but we also got more positive chemistry here, as Americana and Jason have great chemistry. So, I mean, if he wasn't really off his game in this main event, this could have been a pretty solid overall match rating, I would say. Just with that positive chemistry, and of course, they're both relatively good. Anyway, it is what it is. Doesn't matter too much. We end the show. Okay. We didn't actually advance any storylines. I guess that's true, now that I think about it. Yeah, that would be true, because none of our matches actually involve two people in the same storyline. Anyway, we get a 32 for the overall show rating, increasing our popularity in one region. So that's perfectly fine. We're still increasing our popularity, which is the main thing there. Hopefully we're actually up to 4 popularity. Because again, every point of popularity we gain is essentially more money in sponsorship we get. And as you can see, we are actually up to 4, so that's perfect. And we did actually gain 2 points of popularity, essentially going from February to March. So hopefully we can get up to 5 before the end of this month here as well. One thing I do want to do is show you guys the Wrestle World broadcaster. Like I said in the last episode, a lot of you will know what Wrestle World is. But for those that either don't have 2020 yet, I mean, there is a link down below, an affiliate link that you can help the channel out with if you want to purchase it. But basically, there is a new broadcaster that is primarily featured towards, sort of the independent companies, I would say, in both Canada and the US. And it has very small coverage for both of those countries. So I'll show you that in a second here. And like I said, once we get to a decent financial position, there's going to be a lot of signings and a lot of storylines that are probably going to be created from that. Now, this guy, Will Beaumont, is a very, very talented wrestler. I kind of want to get him into the company. It's going to be difficult because obviously he, at the moment, only works in Oceania. and also he's actually on a non-exclusive deal with Raw, but he could easily be given a written exclusive contract. Anyway, if you watch my TCW series, you'll know that I signed him, the whole live stream series. Anyway, enough about that. Let me show you the broadcaster here. So it is called Wrestle World. And there we go. As you can see, very small coverage, all the US regions, all the Canadian regions there as well. As far as the companies, obviously it only just came out in March. And already there are 3 companies. You got Rhode Island Pro Wrestling, which is SWF's feeder company, or their developmental territory. We then have New York City and Freedom Caribbean. So there will be more. There will be a lot more. As you can see, must be at least tiny sized. So we would need to get up to the next size. We're currently at insignificant, which is essentially local. And then obviously you also need 25 popularity in one of those regions, along with, some production values in there as well. As you can see, they're also highly pro wrestling, so, they're a decent broadcaster to be on, and they also have very high risk. So you can essentially have a hardcore company onto that broadcaster. Anyway, let's jump back into size, because as you can see, we're insignificant. In order to get to tiny, we actually need to get 17 popularity in Ontario. So we do have a lot of work to get through in order to actually get to that size. And then, of course, we also need to get 25 popularity. But that is sort of going to be our... Oh, nice. Positive impact for Topher Smith there. He's also happy at the action. It's going to be our sort of first real... Well, I would say our second real goal that we're going to go for. Obviously, the first goal being, getting financially settled. And then I think trying to get onto Wrestle World would be the next best option to go for. Anyway, let's do something here. So let's have Camicazi. Let's go Spencer. Spencer and Topher should be a good match. Let's also... I want to make that the main event. I think I do. I think I do want to make that the main event. And what we'll do is, I think we'll have an interference onto... Let's do a distraction. I don't want to do an interference. Let's do a distraction by... who will we do? I guess we'll just do Marcel. And he's going to distract Spencer, which will eventually lead to the pinfall. And then hopefully we'll have a match between Spencer and Marcel on the next show as our next main event. Like I said, I do really like Spencer, so I feel like he is essentially going to be one of my sort of prospects that I try and push up and elevate to a high level, at least until we start to get some of our other workers that I want to sign into the company. And, there'll be a few guys that leave us. Guys like Crusher, probably Taylor Kidd as well. They will probably leave us once we are financially stable. Next match, let's go with Murray and... I guess Van Pelt. We'll give Van Pelt another match, seeing as he's actually here for once. And we'll actually give him the victory against Murray there as well. Like I said, we're not massive fans of Murray. He's not dreadful, but just the fact that he's a negative influence, it really... I don't know, just it doesn't make you want to push him. It doesn't even make you want to have him, to be honest. Alright, so what we'll do here... actually, considering we're doing a distraction, let's change this up. I think we want to get rid of Van Pelt, actually. Let's make Marcel take on Murray. Yeah, we haven't actually done this match yet. They have essentially faced each other on the ACPW show. That's fine. There we go. Obviously non-title. That looks pretty good. So let's do let's go Marcel, and he can cut a promo onto Spencer, I guess. And I guess that'll advance that. Actually, I don't think Spencer is in that storyline. It doesn't matter, because it doesn't actually need to be advanced properly, but yeah, I mean, it's fine. I think we can also give maybe Taylor Kidd. Maybe not. He's pretty bad. Let's make this the opening angle, and then let's just give Topher Smith an entertainment angle by himself. And I think that can go on before the main event. Did we do storytelling? Yes, we did. All right, let's run the second show here. That's really good. We get a 50 rated angle from Marcel Lafleur. That's pretty much the reason why he's our world champion at the moment. He is consistently getting sort of match ratings and angles that are much higher than everybody else. Yeah, so a 50, that's solid. Hopefully that'll actually help out Spencer as well. We then get a 34 for Marcel's match, where he defeats Murray Firth in 12-27 by submission with a Parisian chicken wing. Getting a 44 in-ring performance there as well. So that's pretty good. We then go into a 28, where we have Taylor Kidd defeating Canadian Crusher in 12-27 as well by pinfall with a 450-degree splash. Not a great match, but, you know, it is what it is. And then we go into a 48 rated angle, which is a little bit unexpected from Topher Smith. Maybe I shouldn't, you know, underestimate him. Of course, he was our first world champion. Unfortunately, didn't make any title defenses, but, you know, he will always be the first champion. Topher Smith. And the main event getting a 39, where we have Topher Smith defeating Spencer Edmund in 2020 by pinfall with a go-far suicide dive. During the match, we also had Marcel Lafleur distract Edmund. Yeah, essentially costing him the victory. But obviously, he's not really like that. He's not going to be happy that he managed to win the match in that fashion. Anyway, we get a 40 rated show for that one. And again, still increasing our popularity. Like I said, it would be really nice if we could get up to 5 pop by the end of this episode. I think that's kind of where I want to be at. Okay, so now we got a booking complaint from Murray Firth. I think he's won maybe one match in his career so far. I'm not really too worried about it. Like I said, he will be essentially first out the door. Let's be real. As soon as we get some money, you know, he's going to be leaving us. All right, we're about to clock over into $10,000 in debt. It's getting a little bit, you know, iffy. It's getting a little bit scary. It's always like a difficult thing. You don't want to be going into debt. But it's pretty much, I mean, you literally have to with a local to global. There's no real way around it, unfortunately, but we will get out of it. I'm pretty confident of that. We're only into March. And, you know, looking at the finances there, we are slowly, I mean, not only are we getting sponsorship money, but obviously the attendances are slowly going up as well. And I think we had, what, 40? Was it 43, that show? I think it was about 43. Obviously, we can double check here in a second. I mean, Kakawa would be a great wrestler to get in. Not sure, is he still wrestling? I think he is. Oh no, he retired. 2017. That's unfortunate. Pretty long illustrious career, though. Very off topic, because he was a Japanese wrestler. Alright, ooh, oh. I thought that was going to be good news. It's actually bad news. I don't think it matters for us at the moment. But Jason Van Pelt has relocated to Centro. And that is, of course, in Mexico. So, yeah. Anyway, I think with his contract where we're not actually paying travel, so like I said, it literally doesn't matter. Let's see. Are we in here somewhere? We should be right at the bottom. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't say there. I could probably go into more detail and check it. But from what I remember, it wasn't a travel expenses covered contract, so we don't really need to worry about that. What we do need to worry about is these backstage incidents that are coming thick and fast. And that's really bad. Marcel Lafleur now has a simmering tension with you. Yeah, probably not worth it. And, yeah, Murray's unhappy with his fine as well. Also seemed to get an even worse with his negative impact in the locker room, so... Yeah, not the greatest there, not the greatest. Anyway, we're expecting 45 fans for this show. Like I said, the main event is going to be Marcel taking on Spencer. Also going to be a non-title match. I think the title match at the pay-per-view, which is next, I believe, is going to be a rematch. I think we already did the match, but it's going to be a rematch between Americana and Marcel. Alright, next match, let's give Americana a bit of a warm-up match where he can take on Virgil. Yep, they've never actually versed each other one-on-one, so that's perfect. As you'd expect, Americana going to pick up the victory there. Alrighty, so there's that match. One final match. Let's go with Camicazi, I think. And he can take on Taylor Kid? Yeah, sure. Why not? And we'll give Camicazi the victory. I think Camicazi will be our next title challenger after Americana. Alrighty, so there we go. Let's make this a storytelling match. Let's also have interference in this one as well. Let's go with botched interference on Virgil by Marcel. And I think that'll be pretty good. So yeah, once again, let's go. This time let's go with Marcel and Americana. So that's going to be our pre-main event angle. Essentially just going to, be leading us into the pay-per-view. Also into the main event, which Marcel is performing in. And then I guess we can start the show with, with Camicazi. Give that 8 minutes as well. That looks pretty good. Alright, let's run that show as well. A little bit worse than last time. We get a 30 rating for Camicazi's angle. This time he actually struggled going off script. We then go into his match, which gets a 33, where we have Camicazi defeating Taylor Kid in 12-16 by pinfall with a reverse 450 splash. It's a good match. We then go into a 36, which is actually better, and we have Americana Jr. defeating Virgil Voss in 12-24 by pinfall with an American Crush. And during the match, we also had Marcel Lafleur attack Voss. Essentially a backfire. He tried to go for Americana, hits Virgil Voss, probably with the CWC World Title belt. We then go into a 39, so even though he did not do well without a script, Marcel is still being able to pull a 39 rated angle. And of course, Americana, essentially involved, saying that, he tried to hit Americana with the title belt during his match. And then we go into our main event, which gets, it's a little bit lower than the sort of recent ones, but again, it is Spencer Edmund. So he's been in both the last two main events. So 37, it's lower. I kind of expect the main events to be getting a 40. But we do have Marcel Lafleur defeating Spencer Edmund in 1937 by submission with a Parisian chicken wing. And we end the show, and unfortunately, we get a 36, which didn't result in any popularity changes. I'm assuming the... See, this is where it's really weird. Because back on 2016, you could essentially... When your popularity is this low, for example, with 4 popularity, any show above a 4, well, a little bit higher than a 4, would gain you popularity in that region. Whereas on 2020, I feel like the popularity has changed quite a bit. You need to be getting really high rated shows to actually increase in popularity. Or so it seems. I might be wrong, but that's just what I've noticed. And of course, the way events have been changed. You know, there's obviously normal events, and then there's, you know, touring events which have such a small, minute popularity increase. Even if you literally have to get like 30 to 35 points higher per show than your current popularity to actually get an increase. I don't know. Part of me thinks that doesn't feel right. Anyway, doesn't matter too much. Let me just take a quick look. I mean, Coalition Wrestling is a normal show. It is not lesser, it's not tour, and it's not a throwaway show, so... I feel like that's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. Also... 32? Was that show a 32? Hold on. It was a 36. Wait, what? Oh, that one was 32. Where is the 40? Why isn't the 40 in the history there? Oh, it's up there. Ignore everything I just said. Anyway, let's get into the pay-per-view, which is actually called Spring Stampede, which is, I think, isn't it a former WCW pay-per-view name? I feel like it is. Obviously, my wrestling knowledge letting me down a little bit here. I like the name anyway. Spring Stampede always sounds good. And of course, it's actually in March as well, which I believe is Canadian Spring. I know it should be in there somewhere. Yeah, I feel like it would be spring. Because, hold on. Yeah, because it's after winter, so that would make sense. Anyway, doesn't matter too much. Let's get into it. Of course, we've got our main event already booked. Well, we don't have it. Oh, that's an interesting one. Luckily, we only have one incident, but this time it's actually between the 2 negative influences. Okay. Let's just give him a warning. I mean, Murray's upset about that. I don't really care, Murray. Man, okay. We're expecting 51 fans here. Not too bad. Alright. Let's book the main event first. So it is going to be Marcel and Americana. Nice and easy. Nice and simple. World title on the line. And I think that should be a pretty good match. Hopefully it's going to... Well, it should definitely get above a 40, in my opinion. So, I mean, hopefully it'll get closer to a 50. That'd be nice. Anyway. Let's go for a good show. So I want to have Jason Van Pelt taking on Taylor Kidd in one of our other matches. Give Van Pelt the victory there as well. And then in our final match, let's go with Camicazi and Topher. Topher's actually up to 32 popularity. I kind of regret taking the title off him now. Interesting. What is Camicazi? He's at 26. Okay. I mean, realistically, this match could be given 20 minutes as well. Possibility that it might actually outperform our main event, which is a little bit worrying. Anyway. We're going to do it anyway. We're going to do it anyway. So that can go on first. We'll make this one our storytelling. And then let's book some angles. So we want Marcel. We want entertainment. And then I guess let's just go with Topher and Camicazi together, maybe. Yeah, let's go both of them. Let's script them as well. And we'll just advance their storyline there. Okay, that actually looks pretty good. It's pretty much all the allotted time as well. So let's run the show. Alright, we start off with a 41 rated angle between Topher Smith and Camicazi. Of course, this one was actually scripted, so essentially, if we want a guaranteed 40 rated angle, we should probably be scripting people. But if we want, you know, to potentially get higher than a 40, we might need to, you know, unscript or not run a script with people. I knew this match was going to be pretty good, so it gets a 43, and we have Topher Smith defeating Camicazi in 1942 by pinfall with a gopher suicide dive. And even with a 43, Topher Smith was really off his game. So this could have been a lot better. And if he wasn't off his game, it might have beaten the main event. It still could beat it. Anyway, moving into our second match here, we get a 32, where we have Jason Van Pelt defeating Taylor Kidd in 11:32 by pinfall with an axe kick. Yeah, just a nice little victory there for Jason, Mr. Van Pelt. Alright, we then go into a 52 rated angle. Yeah, Marcel's really good at angles. His entertainment stats are just not that good, which is interesting. Obviously, he's got pretty good popularity, but I feel like his microphone, it's only like 60 or something. Anyway, I don't know. Let's go into the main event, and it's only a 41, which is interesting because it probably should have done better. Both their in-ring performances are quite good. Anyway, we've got Marcel Lafleur defeating Americana Jr. in 20 minutes 12 seconds by submission with a Parisian chicken wing. And we have Marcel Lafleur making defense number 2 of the CWC world title. Yeah, 45 in-ring there for Marcel and a 41 for Americana. He's also getting better at his gimmick, so it's a positive. We finish the show, and once again, I am so confused right now. I honestly have no idea what's going on. We got a 43 for the overall show rating, but the show didn't result in any popularity changes. I thought I fixed the problem. I honestly have no idea what's going on. Anyway, that's frustrating. That is honestly frustrating. We're only at 4 popularity. That's 39 points higher, that show. So, I have no idea. No idea. Anyway, let's go for Topher. And let's go for, I guess, Camicazi again. And then finally, let's go for maybe Jason. I don't think we've actually praised Jason Van Pelt yet. Maybe I should praise Marcel. Try and get rid of that simmering tension. We'll do it next time. We'll do it next time. Yeah, I honestly have no idea why this popularity is not increasing. The wrestling industry is over 80 in Canada. I honestly just don't know why. I really don't know why. I am seriously confused. And as you can see, we're not in any sort of regional battles as well. Yeah, it's just so confusing. I mean, we're up to 16% momentum. I really have no idea why we're not improving in popularity. And essentially, the less that we improve in popularity, the further in debt we go without a chance of getting out of it. I mean, we're going to continue running more shows right now for this episode, but part of me doesn't want to. Part of me is really, really worried. Okay, well, yeah, well, we only lost 2,700 in the last month, so we are really making a lot of progress on that front. As you can see, the sponsors went up about $800. We made about nearly $600 in additional ticket sales. And we're also making a little bit more in merchandise per month as well. I'm just so confused. I mean, that's 2 shows in a row that we gained no popularity. I think we're going to run one more show. If we don't gain any popularity from that show, then I'm probably going to end the episode and try and find out the actual reason why we're not gaining any pop. Because I'm seriously wondering, maybe it's a bug. It could be a bug. I mean, I'm on 1.16 in regards to the most recent update. Also, Murray has big morale issues. That's pretty funny. It's not good because we kind of need him at the moment. But it is funny. It is definitely funny. Alright. Like I said, this could be our last show of the episode. If we gain pop, we'll probably do one more after it. So now we got Virgil Voss being a negative influence backstage. Okay, things are really falling apart quickly here. This is what I don't understand. We're 81 for our wrestling industry. For the life of me, I can't understand why we are not gaining popularity. Is it generic venues? Is that the problem? Just kind of having a look through here. Let's do something. Let's run in the Windsor Arena Hall because I've kind of got my doubts about the generic venue as well at the moment. Although I shouldn't have any doubt because it's worked, constantly up until this point. Okay, so number 1 contenders match for this main event. We are going to have Camicazi taking on Jason Van Pelt to determine who will face Marcel at the next pay-per-view. There we go. It's our first match on the card. Let's go with Captain Canada for this one. And I think he can take on Canadian Crusher. Yeah, they've never versed each other, so that's pretty good. Not going to be a good match by any stretch of the imagination, but I mean, it would probably have a good story. Obviously, Crusher being the heel, Captain Canada being a face. So I guess we'll also make that the storytelling match. And finally, let's go with Spencer and Virgil. Yeah, I guess so. want to give Spencer a victory. I noticed he was on the not list, the hot not. Maybe give Spencer an angle as well. He is pretty good. Yeah, 47 microphone ability. Alright, so Spencer, I guess, will have Virgil in the angle as well. Doesn't really matter too much. Give them both some success. Advance that storyline there, and then for the main event, let's go with both Camicazi and Van Pelt. I think we'll try and script that one, because that one can kind of fall apart pretty easily. All right, so there we go. Let's see. This is a real test, man. All right, so we open the show with a 36. Probably should have scripted Spencer there as well. But he's basically just, you know, cutting an angle onto Virgil Voss, who they are versing in the first match on the card. So it gets a 29 for our first match, where we do have Spencer defeating Virgil Voss in 11:58 by submission with an elevated Boston Crab. Virgil seemed off his game, so that's kind of expected by him. We then go into a pretty dreadful match where we get a 23 rating. We have Canadian Crusher defeating Captain Canada in 11:36 by pinfall with a full Nelson Slam. So we're probably going to do this match a few more times. Don't really know why, but we'll probably do it at least 3 times in total. So yeah, we got Crusher getting the first victory, and yeah, it's going to be essentially a best of 3. We then go into a 35 rated angle between Camicazi and Jason Van Pelt. And their main event does really, really well. Okay, getting a 47 match rating, where we have Camicazi defeating Jason Van Pelt in just under 20 minutes by pinfall with a reverse 450 splash. And of course, Camicazi becoming the #1 contender for Marcel's world title. Alright, so we end the show. We get a 40 rating for this one, and it increased our popularity in one region. Honestly, have no idea what is going on. I guess maybe it was the arena that we booked instead of going generic. I have no idea. I almost want to run another bad show, because this was a really good show with the main event. It actually was a pretty bad show, but that 47 in the main event saved it. But I want to run a bad show in the Windsor Arena Hall and just see what happens. I'm really curious. I just honestly don't know what's going on with the popularity. All right, so let's get into the next show. Like I said, I think I'll make the main event a little bit weak. I don't want to make it too weak. We might let's put Spencer back in, because Spencer was kind of the one that was in those main events that did, well, apart from the actual pay-per-view itself, the one before the pay-per-view, I think he was in the main event. So I think we'll do Spencer maybe versus Americana. I think we did that already. Let's go Spencer versus Topher. Yeah. I think that'll be, well, I say it's going to be a good match, but it won't be as good as some of the other matches could be. And that's the whole point of this next show, and it will be the last show of the episode. We're approaching 50 minutes, which is, you know, it's not too long, but it's not too short either. I feel like 50 is kind of the perfect medium. A lot of the BCG episodes were about 30 to 35 minutes. And of course, back in the day, the Road to Glory episodes were about an hour and 15 minutes most of the time. So I feel like the 50 to 55 minutes is the perfect amount of time for the local to global series. Alright, what do we got? Alright, Jason Van Pelt dating somebody outside the wrestling industry. We also have we got some more morale issues now. We've got Captain Canada with minor morale issues. He's just upset about being left off the shows. We then have Marcel, who I assume is just irritated with, just irritated at my handling of an incident, which is fine. And then, of course, Virgil is angry at the incident with Murray, and then, of course, being left off the pay-per-view itself. Don't really care. Don't really care too much. We can, figure those out in the future. Once we have some money and a decent amount of popularity. And, of course, we got some more incidents here. I mean, it's almost getting, laughable. Every single show, these guys are doing something. Anyway, once again, we will stick with the Windsor Arena Hall, like I said. And let's do something a little bit less than what we would probably normally do. I mean, it could essentially go Taylor Kidd versus Spence. Let's do that. I want to make this main event. Okay, never mind. We won't do that. Let's go Van Pelt. I don't think we've done this match before. Yeah, we haven't. Alright, so Van Pelt's going to get the victory there. Alright. If we gain popularity from this one, I'll be very surprised. Alright, next match, let's go with Marcel. And I guess he can take on... Let's go Taylor Kidd. Just a nice, easy 12-minute match. They've never actually versed each other as well, so... It's kind of a good one. And finally, let's go with Americana and Murray, I guess. I mean, how can we gain any popularity with Murray on the show? That's what I want to know. Just blame Murray for everything. Alright. Let's do angles, so let's go for Van Pelt. Let's script him. We potentially don't want the angle to be too good. Kind of just wondering, we're not going to advance any storylines here, are we? Unless, let's just do Americana and Marcel together, just so we advance the storylines. I think they're in a storyline together, aren't they? Aren't they in the title challenges? They should be. Let me double check that. They are not. Okay, let's remove you out of there. Put you in there. Alright, there we go. Alright, let's run the show. Last show of the episode. Here we go. Let's see if we still gain another point of popularity. Alright, well, yeah, we start the show off with a 36 rated angle between Americana and Marcel Lafleur, of course. They've been rivals recently, especially at the start of the episode. And of course, at the moment, Marcel is definitely one up, or at least, I think he might be two up, actually, on Americana in regards to the title matches. We then go into Americana's match, which gets a 31, where he defeats Murray Firth in 11:58 by pinfall with an American crush. Murray Firth seemed off his game. We then go into Marcel's match, which gets a 35, and we have Marcel Lafleur defeating Taylor Kidd in 11:53 by submission with a Parisian chicken wing. That's actually not a bad match. Got a 40 in-ring there for Marcel. That's a bad angle. We go into a 29 rated angle from Jason Van Pelt. Of course, he was scripted for this one, so it makes sense why it's so bad. And then the main event does pretty much what I wanted it to do. So that's sort of like an average match rating there. We only get a 34 for the main event. And we have Jason Van Pelt defeating Spencer Edmund in 20 minutes, 29 seconds by pinfall with an axe kick. So let's finish the show. Alright, we didn't have any... This is... I don't get it. I really don't get it. Maybe it is the Windsor arena hall and the fact we're no longer running in a generic venue. But we just got a 32 show rating. We didn't make any storytelling matches for the show, which I thought would tank the overall show rating, and it did, I'm assuming. But we still increased in popularity, so I'm so confused as to why this is happening, or why it has happened already this episode. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Anyway, let's finish that show, and let's get into the actual size of the company. I want to have a look. We probably did actually go up by now. I said I wanted to get up to 5 before, well, not only before the end of the episode, but I wanted to get in there before the end of March, and we probably would have done that. And we've got a lot more. What is... Oh, okay. Yeah, apparently we've got a toxic backstage atmosphere now because of Murray and Marcel. So that's going to cause even more problems. Now everybody has morale issues. So Van Pelt, Americana, Gregory Chapman, the referee, Spencer Edmund, they all have morale issues now. So this is challenging, man. This is really challenging. As far as the size, we did actually go up to 5 now. So that's, I guess, the one shining light from this episode. But we realistically, we should be even closer to 6 than we are currently. And we've also gone up to 2 in Manitoba and 2 in Quebec. So I guess that's good. Hopefully that actually equals more sponsorship money. That'd be nice. I guess we'll find out. Anyway. Again, if you know why we weren't gaining any popularity for those 2 shows, please feel free to let me know down in the comment section below. I'm going to have a look and see if I can find anything. But if I can't, I'm probably just going to keep playing and recording the next episode. And I guess we'll see what happens. I think from now on, I'm going to stick to... Well, we're not going to use generic venues anymore. At least until it happens where we don't gain any popularity running in this arena. And hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully that is the actual issue here. Anyways, if you enjoyed the episode, guys, please smash the like button down below. And of course, subscribe to the channel with the bell notifications turned on. And hopefully that'll mean you get notified when these episodes do come out in the future. And of course, apart from that, guys, as always, take it easy and goodbye.